1. The Mirror's Whisper. Late one night, Lily inherited an old mirror from her grandmother, rumored to have belonged to a distant ancestor accused of witchcraft. The mirror was antique, its frame ornate and dark, the glass slightly warped. It had a strange allure, and though unnerved by the tales, Lily decided to hang it in her bedroom. That night, as she brushed her hair in front of it, something peculiar happened. Her reflection didn't quite move with her. While she turned her head, the reflection lingered, staring forward with wide eyes. Lily blinked and the reflection caught up. She laughed nervously, dismissing it as a trick of the light. But as the days passed, the oddities worsened. At times, she caught glimpses of her reflection smiling at her when her own lips were still. Once, her mirror self waved, fingers curling in a slow, deliberate motion. When she tried to move closer, the image became perfectly synchronized again. One evening, feeling brave, Lily approached the mirror, determined to confront whatever haunted her. "Who are you?" she whispered. Her reflection smiled and, without really moving, whispered back, "I've been waiting for you." The glass rippled like water. Before Lily could scream, the reflection reached out, pulling her inside. In the empty room, the reflection stood in place, mimicking every movement of its eyes, they sparkled with a dark, unraveling gleam that Sarah had just moved into an old Victorian house, thrilled by its vintage charm. As they explored the place, they came upon a small door, tight and half hidden behind boxes. Curiosity gnawed at them, and after searching through the house, they finally found a rusted key that fit the lock. Inside, they discovered a small, dusty room, windowless and cold. In the middle sat an antique rocking chair, gently swaying despite the lack of breeze. Odd carvings marked the walls, and the air smelled faintly of something foul. Sarah, unnerved, insisted they leave the room alone. But David became obsessed. Night after night, he snuck back into the room, drawn by an unseen force. He began to hear whispers calling his name, soft at first, then louder, more insistent. They promised secrets, ancient knowledge. One night, he sat in the rocking chair. As it creaked beneath him, the whispers became screams, deafening and filled with rage. The door slammed shut, trapping him inside. Sarah, woken by his absence, ran upstairs only to find the door locked again. Desperate, she called his name, but there was no response. When she finally forced the door open, the room was empty. Only the rocking chair moved, slowly swaying back and forth. And on the wall, scratched deep into the wood, were 3 words: "I'm still here." 3. The Night Watcher. Samantha had always been a night sleeper, waking at the slightest noise. For weeks, she'd been waking up at exactly 3:15 a.m., feeling like someone was watching her. The sensation was intense, as though eyes bore into her from the shadows of her bedroom. But when she turned on the lights, no one was ever there. One night, she decided to leave the camera running while she slept, hoping to capture whatever was causing her unease. She set it up on her dresser, facing her bed, and fell into an uneasy sleep. Exactly 3:15 a.m., she awoke again, heart pounding, that same oppressive feeling of being watched hanging in the air. The next morning, anxious to see what the camera had captured, she scrolled through the footage. For hours, the video was uneventful, just her tossing and turning in her sleep. But at 3:15 a.m., the screen flickered. For a moment, something appeared, an impossibly tall figure standing in the corner of her room, its face obscured by darkness, but its eyes glowing faintly. It didn't move, only watched her as she slept. When she checked the footage the next night, the figure was closer. Every night, it moved nearer and nearer to her bed. On the fifth night, it was standing right next to her, leaning over her, its pale hand reaching out toward her face. The next morning, Samantha packed her bags and left her apartment. She never returned. 4. The Voice in the Woods. Tom and his friends loved camping, and one weekend, they ventured deep into a remote forest, far from civilization. They found a clearing surrounded by thick trees, perfect for setting up camp. As night fell, they built a fire, laughing and telling ghost stories, their voices echoing in the silent woods. But as the fire dimmed and the night grew darker, they began to hear something, faint, distant calls from deep within the trees. It was a woman's voice, soft and pleading. "Help me," she cried. "Please, help me." At first, they thought it was a prank, perhaps other campers nearby. But the voice grew closer, though no footsteps or rustling accompanied it. Tom's friends grew nervous, but he insisted on investigating, convinced someone might be in trouble. Armed with a flashlight, he ventured into the woods, following the voice. "Help me," it whispered again, just ahead. He pushed deeper, his friends calling after him, but the voice drowned them out, leading him farther and farther into the trees. The voice became a whisper, right beside his ear, though no one was there. "Help me." Then, the voice stopped. The forest was dead silent. Tom swung his flashlight wildly, heart racing, but saw nothing. When he tried to return to camp, he realized he was lost. His friends waited for hours, calling out his name, but there was no response. They searched all night, but Tom was gone, vanished into the dark woods. They left the next morning, shaken and afraid. Weeks later, a new group of campers reported hearing a man's voice deep in the woods. It was soft, pleading, and familiar. "Help me," it whispered. "Please, help me."